Right, so it's been a while since we spoke about some wedding drama on this channel, but the situation we're talking about today might just be the wildest one yet. And that is definitely saying something, because we have spoke about many different types of wedding drama previously, but I genuinely couldn't believe what I was hearing when I first watched this. So there's a couple of people you need to be aware of here, right? The first one is Alexis Zveda, I'm so sorry, I've definitely pronounced that wrong. Alexis being the bride in this situation, right, who has recently been married. Now another person, or should I say business you need to be aware of here is Pop-Up Events Planning. And they are the wedding planners in this situation who definitely have a bad reputation following this situation and many others it seems. So there's quite a lot of information to get through here, right? And the majority of this is going to be coming from Alexis' TikTok account, who has posted like a multi-part series in all of this. She starts off by saying that she was scammed by a wedding planner and shows some like expectations versus reality.
My husband and I just got married June 7th, 2025, and we were completely scammed by our so-called wedding planner. We were the first victims in her whole entire scheme, and now there are over 10 other brides who have come forward with weddings after ours with the same exact stories, the same exact lies, the same exact excuses. I want to start off by saying the biggest part of this all, that was the most shocking, was she had no-showed for our rehearsal and for our wedding. Texted us the morning of the wedding saying her 3-year-old son was going into emergency surgery and she was not able to attend the wedding. Just for us to find out that not only did she double book our wedding day, but she literally triple booked our wedding day.
Okay, so I think that beginning clip paints a good picture of what's actually happened here, right? So this wedding planner has allegedly scammed multiple couples at this point. We saw some pictures flash up on screen. We actually do see them again later with like actual context behind them, so I'm going to save that for then when we probably speak about it. But towards the end of that clip, we heard a very crazy part of this, right? The wedding planner didn't show up on the rehearsal or the wedding day because she didn't just double book the wedding, she triple booked it. And her reason for not showing up to Alexis' wedding was because her son was having emergency surgery. Now, as we will later find out, Alexis goes on to allege that this is just a straight up lie and she has some proof to back that up. Which obviously goes without saying, if this is true, right, because again, I'm not involved, right, so I don't know for 100%, but from Alexis' side of the story here and multiple other people's side of the story as we'll later find out, if this person did really use a fake surgery with her son as the excuse as to why she didn't show up to the wedding, beyond disgusting. Now, Alexis goes on to explain why she actually picked this wedding plan in the first place. It was because of her decor. So she saw some pictures on her Instagram page, thought they looked really nice, thought that this would be the best person to work with. The only problem being is these pictures weren't hers. They were stolen.
The main selling point for all of us who have fallen victim to her scheme is her beautiful decor that she advertises.
Alright, see some pictures here.
We have since learned that majority of her pictures and her advertisements on her social media are stolen from other creators across the United States. Shout out Google Reverse, you know.
Yeah, well, this definitely seems to be true because I actually looked myself, and on the Pop-Up Events Planning Instagram account, you can see some of the pictures that Alexis was showing. This is one of them here. This being posted October 31st, 2024. But then we can see the exact same picture on an account called the Red Door Catering 510 on the 30th of August, 2024. Same with this picture that Alexis showed. This was posted on May 7th on the Pop-Up Events Planning Instagram account. But then I found the exact same picture on Yours Truly Event Rental, and this was actually just the day before Pop-Ups posted it. They've done it in a bit of a smart way as well, because this is like the 5th picture in like a slideshow on Instagram, so it's not the main picture you would see if you just scroll on their page. But let's get back to Alexis' video, and it just gets worse from this point on, because Alexis actually goes on to explain that she was actually blocked by the wedding planner during her wedding.
Oh, and one other major part I forgot to include was that she blocked us, my husband and I, in the middle of our wedding.
I mean, to block them in the first place after no showing the wedding is one thing. To block them during the wedding is mental, right? Can you imagine the stress of you trying to figure out? As we'll later find out, Alexis and her husband and a bunch of the guests had to put a lot of the pieces together with this wedding because a lot of stuff was wrong. Can you imagine being in the middle of all that stress, trying to get in contact with the wedding planner, and they block you on your wedding day? Again, these are all accusations, right? I wasn't there, so I don't know 100%, but as we'll see later, multiple people have said very similar stories. In the second part that Alexis uploaded, she goes on to talk about the excuse that the wedding planner gave, right? Saying her son was in hospital, emergency surgery, and Alexis goes on to explain why she knows that's a lie.
The thing I want to clarify is that excuse that she made up about her son getting emergency surgery was a lie. That was a complete lie.
Yeah, so we can actually see the text message here from the wedding planner. It says, "Hi, this is so-and-so with so-and-so. I wanted to send you a quick text instead of calling because I wasn't sure what time you were getting up and didn't want to wake you. My team is currently loading up and headed your way with all the decor for Alexa's wedding. Brandon, Cameron, and Anthony will all be there to help decorate. Brandon and Cameron will be running point as the lead planners for today. Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend the wedding myself. My 3-year-old son is having emergency surgery this morning due to complications from his leg fracture. He developed swelling and an infection under the cast, and since the break is close to his growth plate, they need to operate right away. This was completely unforeseen, and I'm so sorry I won't be there. That said, my team is fully prepared and knows the plan inside and out." So this bit's interesting as well, because Alexis goes on to mention that the people who did show up to help with the wedding weren't actual, employees at this wedding events company. Apparently, according to Alexis, they were just the wedding planner's friends that showed up.
Like I said, she booked 3 weddings on the same day, and she actually attended 1.
Alright, so we actually see an email here as well that says, "So-and-so was present at something country club on June 7th, 2025 as a coordinator for a wedding at our venue beginning around 8 a.m. Yeah, so this looks like it's an email from the venue of a different wedding on the same day, confirming that the wedding planner was there.
Bride 1 was booked in October, bride 2 was booked in November, and bride 3 was booked in December, all back to back to back. The wedding she chose to attend was bride number 1. That means she took calls with me for 7 months, knowing that she was never going to attend and acted like she was going to be there. How do you make that mistake? How do you book 3 weddings on one day?
Okay, so some more text messages here saying, "All I can do at this point is say I'm sorry for anything that caused you stress on your wedding day. For some reasons, the dates were not in my phone. I made a mistake. I think using my phone as my only calendar to record dates was a mistake on my part. I should be using paper to record dates." Okay, so looking at this text message, it seems like she ended up dropping the story about the fact that her son had to have emergency surgery. She says her son did break his leg. She later actually sent a picture of that, as we'll see later, and said that that was on the same day, but then Alexa saved the picture, realised it wasn't on the same day because it has the dates. But yeah, I mean, from this text message, she's basically confirming that there was a mistake with the booking, right? She booked multiple things on the same day. We then also see in this screenshot that the wedding planner and her husband, I believe, actually chose what they wanted to eat on the day, confirming that they were supposed to be there. And then this is where we hear about the 2 friends that showed up that were supposed to help with the wedding instead of the original wedding planner, to which Alexis just says was her friends.
She did actually send in staff. She sent in 2 people, just to find out, though, that those 2 people are actually just her friends. They have tons of Facebook pictures together. She made it seem like they work under her business, but then weeks later, she turns around and says, "I hired 2 employees to work that day, and I could have not have hired anyone to come." Here's that text message.
Okay, so this text message says, "If I give you a refund, will you please take down your reviews and stop hate messages everywhere? I understand you're upset, but I could have not hired anyone to come," which is a wild thing to say. "I was trying to fix the situation. I hired 2 employees to work that day. Brandon has worked weddings with me before, and I thought he could handle it. I'm a newer planner. I'm still learning. I made one day of mistake. I feel terrible your day was so bad. I was trying to protect my mental health. I have strangers giving me death threats. I'm very scared. I've been crying all day, throwing up. I feel terrible. Your day was so bad. I never had ill intent. My company did show up. Wasn't me, no, I was trying to fix it." In the next video, we start hearing more about the actual wedding day, so we can see some expectations versus reality. So this is what they ordered here. This is the bar. As you can see, looks nice, but then what they got was this. And I mean, the bottom bit looks pretty similar, but this shelf bit at the back, I mean, that is nothing like it, is it? Alexis actually goes on to explain that the venue actually provided their stock bar instead because this looks so bad. We then also hear about the seating chart that was ordered. It's pretty bad quality, so I've zoomed in. Hopefully it doesn't look too bad. But this is what was ordered, right? With this random Photoshop job of these PNGs of people. Either way, the seating chart's the important bit. You can kind of see what it was supposed to look like. And then we can see what it actually looked like. And Alexis goes on to explain that there was a bunch of spelling errors with the names. They weren't in the right order. They were supposed to be in alphabetical order, and they weren't. Alexis also goes on to say that some people's names were just straight up missing. Of course, this actual seating arrangement, setup that I've got going on here, just wasn't right. Doesn't look anything like the pictures. There's also some red paint splatter that we can see right here. We can see in this picture that the shelves ended up breaking, so everything just smashed on the floor and there was glass everywhere. And in this picture, we can actually see a better view of the paint splatters that Alexis mentions. And at the end of this video, Alexis goes on to explain that the groomsmen had to actually go out and make a new seating plan because this one broke.
Bless my husband's groomsmen, because they went to the store in their suits to go remake a whole entire seating chart. It was just poor quality, hence the reason why it collapsed, even though they are claiming it was from the wind. There was no wind that day. It was the most beautiful weather and day ever.
In the next video, Alexis goes on to explain that they didn't get all the cutlery that they ordered. It was these like gold like knives and forks and whatnot. And then she actually goes on to explain that the reason for this is because all 3 weddings on the same day all wanted the same cutlery.
After I had conversations with the 2 other June 7th brides, the reason why we fell short of gold forks was because she had promised all 3 of us gold silverware.
And then there's some other bits that were mentioned, like this chandelier that had bits hanging off it. We see that they ordered these textured clear plates. This is what it was supposed to look like. This is what they got, which of course isn't textured. And in fact, they arrived with the tag still on them, like the price tag still on them. So a bunch of the guests had to kind of work together to remove the price tags.
They actually arrived with all the tags still stickered on them. Charger plates were clear, so they obviously needed to be removed. Sat there with blow dryers trying to get all the price tags off of them.
I mean, again, I know I said this earlier, right? But can you imagine having to do all of this on your wedding day? Like, even though we hear that it was the guests who were helping out, even for the guests, like, imagine having to do this, the stress of, like, being like, I need to sort this out. Otherwise, my friend, sibling, daughter, whoever it is, isn't going to have the wedding day that they want. All things that Alexis and her husband paid thousands of dollars for someone to actually do themselves, and they didn't do it. And then at the end of this video, Alexis goes on to explain because the guests had to like kind of pick up the pieces and do so much on the day that they weren't expecting to do, there was actually part of the wedding that they weren't able to do.
We had our bridesmaids, our groomsmen, our family, florists, our other vendors running around scrambling, trying to pick up all the broken pieces and pull everything off. My mom was setting the tables with the charger plates. She was laying out the menus and name tags. And because it was pure chaos and running around all day, this created a massive delay in our schedule. A lot of things that were supposed to happen didn't end up happening, which is really sad. For example, we decided we were not doing a first look, so we were going to do all the bridesmaids' pictures ahead of the ceremony. Ended up not having time to do the bridesmaids pictures, which then had to be done after the ceremony.
Yeah, so at this point, Alexis goes on to explain a bunch of the parts in the wedding that they weren't able to do. Now, at this point, you're probably thinking, why did Alexis pick this wedding planner, right? Like, what did the reviews say? Now, in the original video, the first video, Alexis does actually leave a comment saying she removed all her Facebook and Google reviews once I posted my negative review. She had 5 stars prior, so I thought she was trustworthy. So the fact that she had 5 stars prior suggests that maybe she was good at her job before this, and this is maybe all like a new thing, because it's not just this day either, right? It's not just the 3 weddings that were on this day. We then hear there's at least 10 other couples have had similar experiences, so I'm not sure what's went wrong. Either that, or every time there is a negative review, the reviews get removed. And Alexis even explains that when she left a negative review, this is multiple times over, the Google page just ended up getting removed and then a new one was posted without any reviews, basically like starting from scratch. So I don't know if that's just the reason why it was 5-star at one point, who knows. Now in the next video, Alexis goes on to explain what happened after the wedding. So she says that the wedding planner actually ended up using content from Alexis' wedding as advertisement and promotion on her Instagram page. So she posted the content from this wedding that didn't go well on her Instagram page to promote her business.
I actually take that back. We actually heard from her one time on our honeymoon. That was her sending us content videos from our wedding. But what's so funny about the content videos is she actually posted them on her Instagram advertising our wedding when she literally has the bride and groom blocked. When we got back from the honeymoon, we sent a demand letter requesting a full refund and outlining all the things that went wrong and how disappointed we were. At the time we sent the demand letter, we actually had not known about the second wedding nor the third wedding that was booked on our day.
Now, of course, at this point, Alexis and her husband are blocked on all social medias, apparently. So Alexis actually goes out of her way to send a text message to the wedding planner using her sister's phone, doesn't receive a reply. So after the bad communication, Alexis then leaves the first negative review, which gets taken down.
I didn't get a response back to those last couple messages. That's when I decided it's time to post my review. So I went onto Google, posted it on Google under her business page, and it was immediately taken down within minutes afterward. Not just my review, but her whole entire Google page. She then tried to repost her Google page, and I posted again, and then it got taken down again. That went back and forth a couple times. Then I had my sister-in-law post it on their Facebook page since I was blocked, and she was then blocked immediately following. Since we couldn't get my review to stay up anywhere, that's when I posted it on my personal Facebook page. And then that's when the text messages started flowing in. That's also when all the other brides who had used her from the point of my wedding until my review started all reaching out as well.
Okay, so as we're hearing, it took Alexis posting on her personal Facebook page, like her experience, and then the wedding planner started reaching out. I will give you a refund. Can you please stop bashing me online? I did the best I could. I have 2 kids, Alexis. If not for me, for them. I never wanted your day to go this badly. I'm sorry. I worked really hard. Please don't do this to me. Please, I'm begging you. I mean, it's just a wild response, isn't it? Considering she wasn't replying to her at all from what we're hearing. And by the sounds of it, didn't want to help apart from when it was posted on the public Facebook page. The messages continue saying, please, Alexis, I really tried to fix the situation. It was an accident. Things got damaged and I'm sorry. Please, I'm never ever trying to make your day go bad. I care about all my clients. I'm so sorry. I'm not good at confrontation. It was one really bad day. I'm so sorry. To which Alexis replies saying, I'd accept our refund via cash or cashier's check. I will have someone meet you tomorrow by 2 p.m. And then at this point in the video, Alexis goes on to give her thoughts on these messages.
We also talk about the fact she said, if you're not going to do it for me, do it for my kids, when you are the one who literally lied about your kid being in emergency surgery. The name I have scribbled out in those last messages is bride number 3, who came forward once she saw my Facebook post.
Yeah, some more messages. So this message in particular is one that we read earlier. We now actually see Alexis reply, which is, listen to how you're talking, still about yourself, playing victim, still shifting the blame, this time on Brandon. It seems like the only reason you're apologizing now is because you're feeling the consequences. You never would have apologized if things hadn't escalated to this point. Were you thinking of your kids when you made up a lie about your 3-year-old needing emergency surgery? Were you thinking of your kids when you promised to be at 3 places at once and how that would affect your business? No. And you never considered the repercussions of your actions, and now you're freaking out, crying, what about my tears? What about my mum and my mother-in-laws? You had a bad day? What about having a bad day, the biggest day of your life? You didn't make 1 day of mistakes, you made 7 months of mistakes as soon as you took on 2 weddings at once. Then even more mistakes when you took that count up to 3. What about myself and our family's mental health, who have been suffering the past few months since the wedding happened? Thinking of all the time that was supposed to be spent together, lost. Tomorrow we will meet you at McDonald's. It needs to be before 2. Let me know what time you will be there. The post will be removed once the cash or cashier's check is in our hands. We then see the reply to that, which is actually one we read earlier. It's a message where it said, my son did break his leg. But we then see that it's a picture sent here. It's obviously scribbled out, but Alexis goes on to explain that it's a picture of her son in hospital. But Alexis also mentions that she saved the picture and the dates were wrong.
The picture I have scribbled out is a picture of her son in the hospital, but what I don't think she knows is that if you save the picture into your camera roll, it will actually tell you the date that it was taken. And that picture was taken on May 27th, and our wedding was on June 7th. She then tried to have us sign an NDA in exchange for a refund, in which we were going to consider, until she said it was only going to be for a partial refund and not for a full refund, which we then kindly declined, and which you'll see in my next messages.
I mean, this story just gets wilder, doesn't it? Like, look, we have the messages here. Would you sign a release of liability waiver agreement? It's a legal document where one party, so-and-so, goes on to explain what it would entail. It's basically an agreement saying you won't speak about this anymore, or we are not responsible for anything beyond this point if we give you a refund. But we then see in this message here, we are willing to refund you half of what you spent. So it's not a full refund, a half refund. To which we then see Alexis declines and says, no, we're not discussing this unless it's a full refund. We see the end of this message where the wedding planner is saying stuff like, I'm trying to make this right. I know you're doing me a grace. I appreciate you so much for that. I just am really scared. I've never gone through anything like this before. To which quickly changes to, if court is what you feel is right, we will go to court to counter-sue for defamation and loss of business. When we get summoned, we will show up. Alexis replies basically saying, how on earth are you going to sue me for defamation? To which the wedding planner says, done talking, I'll see you in court. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see where the defamation comes into it. If the story is true and Alexis is telling the story how it happened, it quite literally isn't defamation. Obviously, that changes if the story's a lie, so I guess we'll see what will happen. Now, in the final video, Alexis explains that one of the couples that had a similar experience have actually filed under small claims court. The problem being here that the wedding planner has apparently told someone that they're going to be filing for bankruptcy.
What we do know is at least one other bride has filed small claims against her. And as I noted in the last video, we have not filed with small claims because she has told one of the other brides that she is going to be filing for bankruptcy. And in court, since she's protected under an LLC, if she has an open case against her, it will get dropped if you file for bankruptcy.
So instead, Alexis has filed a police report and actually filed a dispute with her bank.
We also filed a police report against her. Many of us have filled out with the Ohio Attorney General and sent in all of our evidence for them, and that's currently under investigation. And the last step that we are currently in the process of is disputing with our credit card company. This may take some time. It says it could be about 60 to 90 days, but this is the one we're really hoping for because this would just be the easiest. I submitted 35 pieces of evidence and documentation to prove my dispute and why we are requesting a dispute.
Yeah, so fingers crossed the dispute goes well and Alexis does get her money back, because by the sounds of it from effing we're hearing here, she definitely has a strong case. Now, as I've been mentioned throughout this, and as Alexis mentioned in the videos, there are multiple couples that have said that they've had a very similar experience. Now, there's actually a Facebook group that I saw that's called Beware of Pop-Up Events Planning LLC. It's got 41 members, and it's just filled with people talking about their experience with this wedding planner. There's also 6 reviews on Yelp that are all from people saying that they had similar experiences too. But as we heard, the wedding planner is apparently going to be filing for bankruptcy, so who knows if that's actually going to be happening. It did look like that was maybe going to be happening because on the Facebook group, I saw that there was a post on like Facebook Marketplace by the wedding planner where they were selling wedding/party decor for $100. So it seemed like they were trying to get rid of stuff that they had. But also from what I've seen in the Facebook group, they did actually take down their website and Instagram at one point. So it did really look like they were going to be filing for bankruptcy or closing down the business, but have since reopened them, so maybe they're not. Who knows? Now, obviously this goes for all my videos, right? But obviously don't go out of your way to send the people involved in this like hate or horrible messages or anything like that. That's never okay. We saw in the text messages earlier, the wedding planner mentioned like death threats because of this situation. Obviously, just want to make it 100% clear again with all my videos that is never okay, no matter what. Obviously, the vast majority of people know that already, but just wanted to make my stance on that very clear, you know? But with that all being said, I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. This is obviously a very shitty situation for all the couples that are involved in this. Again, like, I mean, it's not just having a random event ruined, having your wedding day ruined is a completely different level. I can't imagine the amount of stress that Alexis was going through, her husband was going through, even the guests, but then also the other weddings that we've now heard about. A very wild situation to say the least, and again, I would love to know your opinions in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff, and yeah, until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.